We are going to talk about To Autumn. We are now handling poems that have to deal with nature. And this poem is about the seasons. This is a poem composed after Keats had just come back from an evening walk near Winchester. It is one of Keats' most sensual poems, and it is full with imagery. It is a description of the season of autumn in 3 stanzas of 11 lines each. The first stanza deals primarily with a description of the season of autumn and its general atmosphere. The second stanza addresses autumn in the style of a female goddess with her trays of the homemaker about her, and the third goes back to the beauty of autumn, advising her not to mourn the loss of spring because there is ample life even in the season of autumn itself. The poem focuses on the abundance of harvest in autumn and the transition to a new season. The first stanza deals with the speaker celebrating autumn in the line, the season of mist and mellow fruitfulness. In gorgeous, well-voweled imagery that accompanies the writing, Keats makes reference to the abundance, although autumn is regarded largely in British culture as the start of death and a time of melancholy, sadness. Keats has transformed this period to one of fruitful existence. The imagery of abundance is heightened or highlighted in the line, to bend with apples of mossed cottage trees, all filled and fruits with ripeness to the core. There is a strong evidence of energy and beauty in the poem, and the atmosphere created here is one of calmness and peacefulness. The imagery of ripeness to the core highlights the ultimate glory of autumn, which deals with abundance. The atmosphere of peace is reinforced. The concluding statement of the stanza qualifies that the harvest has been good, when it states, "For summer has overbrimmed their climmy cells," to indicate that the storehouses are all full with the harvest. Excuse me. In stanza 2, there is still the feeling of freedom, but Keats leans closer to personifying the season to make it easier for the reader to empathize with the season that he is painstakingly trying to bring to life. Autumn is viewed as a fertile goddess or like a pharaoh's child. He also suggests that autumn is cruel with the word hook, but the line spares the neck swart and all its twined flowers. That follows implies that it is a fair and kind goddess. The use of oozing, the word oozing in the last line in the second stanza indicates a certain degree of cruelty, which seems more threatening as autumn watches its last hours pass to make way for winter. In the last stanza, the speaker addresses autumn herself and physically implying that autumn mourns the loss of spring and considers herself at odds with her far more beautiful counterparts of the other seasons. The speaker implies that autumn is just as beautiful as spring and even more beautiful than other seasons. The insects that come out at night, the animals that burn in spring, and birds that come out in autumn, all give us a wide range and diversity of life in nature. Throughout the poem, Keats alludes to the pastoral tradition in poetry that celebrates the countryside and focuses primarily to describe the natural surroundings. Although nothing much happens in this poem, the simple language, the mastery that he shows in the poem emphasizes Keats' talents were just beginning to surface at the time of his death. Excuse me. This is an ode that glorifies the beauty and fruitfulness of autumn. Autumn inspires with the sun to fill up vines and trees with fruits and to produce in abundance. The various people who work during the harvest include the reaper, gleaner, and the worker at the cedar press. The poem celebrates nature as seen from the title. The poem exhorts the reader not to think about the melodies of spring because autumn also possesses the beautiful songs of the soft dying day, combined with that of gnats, cricket, redbreast, and swallows. The poem is not just about a quest or challenge, rather it is about a quiet, beautiful season. There is activity and abundance in the field through hard work. The speaker shifts to personify autumn with the qualities of a goddess in the form of humans carrying out various tasks. The element of death is also highlighted with the coming of winter, as well as the passage of time as the worker at the cedar press watches the last oozings hours by hours. This image can be interpreted as the last moment before the arrival of winter or before death in the context of human life. The rhetoric in Where Are the Songs of Spring leads the reader to choose which of the two, spring or autumn, is a better season than the other. The argument is that contrary to the motion that people, or the notion that people have about autumn, it also has its own music, although not eloquently as happy, because gnats mourn in a willful choir. In addition, their numbers reduce and float depending on whether the light wind lives or dies. In this imagery, Keats echoes the death of autumn as well as physical morality. The speaker assures that winter has not yet started and there is still energy and vitality as swallows gather and twitter in the skies, in anticipation for the migration to another area with a friendlier season. The speaker urges the reader to enjoy the season of autumn as much or as long as they can. Autumn is a transitional season between abundance and death. The embrace of a new season also celebrates the past and the future. The poem captures the experience of Keats after taking a world in the countryside, and he brings out the sounds, sights, and smell that he had experienced. The beginning of the poem has a joyous mood because of the abundance and fruitfulness in it. As the poem comes to an end, the mood becomes melancholic because of the passage of time and the change of season. The passage of time reminds him of his death and that of mankind in general. The poem is replete with pastoral images, especially as the crickets sing and the swallows twitter. The main themes into autumn are the power of nature, the passage or time or death, the brevity of life, hard work, the beauty of seasons, and abundance.